She didn't tell anyone at first, because what would she even say? Hey, someone keeps calling me at night, and breathing. She'd sound crazy, so she kept it to herself for 17 days. Mara Delgado was 31, lived alone in a second-floor apartment in Columbus, Ohio. Nothing remarkable about her life. She worked remotely, data entry for an insurance company, ordered the same Thai food every Thursday, went to bed around 11. She was the kind of person who kept her phone face down on the nightstand, which is why, the first time it happened, she almost missed it. October 14th, a Tuesday. Her phone lit up at exactly 3:27 in the morning. She saw the glow through her eyelids, rolled over, squinted. Unknown number. She let it ring. Voicemail. Nothing. She turned back over and told herself it was a wrong number, a drunk dial, a scammer calling from overseas with a badly scheduled auto dialer. She told herself a lot of things that first night. The second call came the next night, 3:27 a.m. Same thing. Unknown number, different area code. She noticed that. This time, she answered. She pressed the phone to her ear and whispered, "Hello?" Silence. Not the silence of a deadline. Not static. Not that hollow digital. Nothing you get when a scam call drops. This was the silence of something present, like a room with someone in it. She stayed on the line for almost 40 seconds. She counted before she hung up. She didn't sleep after that. By the end of the first week, she had a system. She started keeping a notes app open on her phone. Every morning she'd log the time, the number, and anything she heard. October 14th, 3:27, didn't answer. October 15th, 3:27, answered. Silence. October 16th, 3:27, answered. Silence. Maybe something like cloth moving. October 17th, 3:27, didn't answer. Called back. Not in service. That last one stopped her cold. She stared at it for a long time.
This number is no
Not
longer
in service.
service.
The number that had called her 12 hours earlier, real enough to ring her phone, real enough to show up in her call log, was suddenly not in service. She called her carrier, spent 40 minutes on hold. A rep named Daniel told her cheerfully that spoofed numbers were common, probably telemarketers. She could block it. She said, "The number is different every night." Daniel did not have a cheerful answer for that. Day 9. She answered on the first ring. She was ready. She didn't say hello. She just listened. And this time, she heard it. Breathing. Slow. Even. Like someone deeply asleep or deeply focused. She pulled the phone away from her ear and stared at the screen like it had just said something horrible. Then she put it back. Still breathing, she whispered, "Who is this?" It stopped. The breathing just stopped mid-exhale, and the line went dead. She started doing what any rational person does when something irrational is happening to them. She Googled. She found forums full of people who'd experienced similar things. Some of them believed it was paranormal, that phones could somehow receive calls from the dead, that 3 a.m. held some spiritual significance, that the calls were warnings. She didn't believe any of that, but she read every single post. She found one thread in particular that made her feel genuinely ill. A user named quiet_frequency had written 18 months prior, "It's not the calls that scare me. It's that they always know when I'm awake." The post had 6 replies, and then nothing. The account had never posted again. Mara put her phone down. She picked it up again immediately. Day 12, she stopped sleeping in her bedroom. She'd drag her pillow to the couch, leave the TV on low, some home improvement show, something aggressively normal, and lie there watching the minutes on the cable box tick toward 3 a.m., 3:15, 3:20, 3:25, and her heart would do this thing, this horrible clenching thing. Starting around 3:24, her body would just know, like it had been trained. 3:26, she'd hold the phone. 3:27, ring, every single night. Not 3:26, not 3:28, not sometimes, not occasionally, 3:27, every night, without exception. Or she started to think that was the scariest part. Not the breathing, not the rotating numbers, the precision of it. Because random things aren't precise. Intentional things are precise. Day 15. She had her friend Dana come over. She didn't explain everything, just said she'd been getting weird calls and wanted a second opinion, and Dana, bless her, showed up with wine and 0 questions. They sat on the couch. Mara set her phone on the coffee table between them, face up, volume on high. 3:26 a.m. Dana was mid-sentence about something completely unrelated, a guy she'd met at a work event, and Mara held up one finger. Wait, Dana stopped. 3:27, ring. Dana looked at the phone, then at Mara, then back at the phone. Mara answered it on speaker. The three of them, Mara, Dana, and whatever was on the other end of that call, sat in complete silence for almost a minute. Then Dana whispered, "Hang up." Mara hung up. Dana finished her wine in one long, steady sip and said, "Okay, that's not a telemarketer." Day 17. Mara had done everything she could think of. She'd changed her ringtone to something jarring, thinking maybe a different sound would somehow break the pattern. She'd downloaded a call recording app so she could capture audio. She'd considered calling the police, rehearsed how it would sound, and talked herself out of it 3 times. On day 17 at 3:27 a.m., she answered the call, activated the recording, and said nothing. She heard it immediately, the breathing again, but this time, underneath it, almost below the threshold of hearing, there was something else, a sound, mechanical, steady, like a system running. She almost missed it. She wouldn't have caught it at all, except she'd been listening for something wrong, something human, and this was neither. It was too regular, too consistent. She lay there, listening for 4 full minutes. Then the line disconnected. Same as always. No click, no tone, just gone. She pulled up the recording immediately and listened with headphones. There it was, the breathing, and beneath it, that mechanical hum, and something else. Something she hadn't consciously registered while she was on the call. A faint, intermittent pattern, almost like a signal, almost like something cycling through, almost like a system that was trying to connect. She sent the recording to her cousin Elliot, who worked in IT. She didn't give him context, just said, "Tell me what you hear." He called her back the next morning. "Where did you get this?" She explained the calls. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Mara, that background sound, that's an automated dialing sequence." She didn't understand. He explained it slowly. An automated dialing system, the kind used by alarm companies, medical alert services, banks, runs on a cycle. It dials numbers in sequence. If the call connects, it's supposed to play a pre-recorded message or patch through to an operator. If something goes wrong with the system, a software glitch, a corrupted data set, a routing error, the call connects, but the message doesn't play. The line stays open, and if the system is also monitoring whether the line is active, detecting ambient sound to confirm connection, a microphone, essentially, running on a loop. Then what you'd hear on the receiving end would be the room. Whatever sounds were in the room where the system was housed, a server room maybe, a monitoring station, breathing, from the overnight technician sitting at the desk 40 feet from the open microphone, not even aware his equipment had misfired, and was quietly broadcasting the sound of him doing his job. Elliot made some calls. It took 3 days to trace it back, but eventually they found it. A home security company, mid-sized, regional, based in Cincinnati, had pushed a software update to their automated outreach system on October 13th, the night before the call started. The update had introduced a bug, a small one, the kind that wouldn't show up in testing. Under specific conditions, a particular combination of account status flags that only occurred in legacy accounts, the system would pull a number from its database and dial it repeatedly on a fixed schedule. 3:27 a.m., the window when the fewest people were actively using the system, when the servers had the most bandwidth. Mara's number was in their database because 4 years earlier she'd had a brief subscription to their service at a different apartment. She'd canceled it, but her number had stayed in the system, tagged to an old account, sitting there quietly in a dataset that no one had cleaned in years. The update woke it up. The number changed every night because the system was cycling through different outgoing lines. A feature designed to prevent numbers from being flagged as spam. The breathing was the overnight monitoring technician. The silence was just a broken system doing what broken systems do, reaching out, getting nothing back, trying again tomorrow night. The company called Mara directly to apologize. A supervisor named Greg, who sounded like he hadn't slept in days, probably hadn't, walked her through exactly what had happened and assured her the bug had been patched. He asked if she'd like to be compensated. She said she'd like to never receive another call from them for the rest of her life. Greg said that was more than fair. The calls stopped on October 31st. She noted the date and didn't know what to do with the fact that it was Halloween. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of timing. She went back to sleeping in her bedroom, stopped keeping the notes app open, deleted the recordings, all of them except one, which she kept in a folder she never opened. She still keeps her phone face down on the nightstand. Old habits. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes, she'll wake up in the early hours for no reason, no sound, no disturbance, and she'll lie there in the dark watching the ceiling and listening, waiting, because that's the thing about 17 nights of 3:27 a.m. Your body doesn't forget. Even when the calls stop, you keep waiting for them. If you've watched this far, it means this story made a strong impression on you. If it kept you up even a little bit, good. That means it worked. Drop a comment below with the time on your clock right now. I'm genuinely curious. And if you want more stories like this one, real events, strange explanations, the kind of thing that sounds impossible until it suddenly makes perfect sense, hit subscribe. New video every week. I'll see you in the dark.